Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included. So last episode, we made some liquid oxygen, and this episode, I would like to have a quick crack at fixing some of the heat issues that we have with our little setup. So one of the things I'm going to do, which might seem a little crazy, is I am going to move the liquid lock. This unfortunately is going to be a little bit of effort. Just a little bit of effort. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick a joint watt plate right up here so that it stays out of my way. Basically, I'm planning on running my power a little bit differently, moving it out of the way so that I can have a liquid lock connected to the right side here. That is my plan. Another thing I'm going to do is to add in diamond window tiles. So why, you wonder, diamond window tiles? The high thermal conductivity is what I am after. Now, if we take a quick look at the minerals overlay, as you can see, this here is insulation. So we will not be dumping, and I'll even have it one over like this. We will not be dumping, the conductivity won't be affecting this steam chamber here. And let me speed that process up. So what's happening here is my high pressure gas vent thing is honestly just becoming too overheated. And I'm going to need a way to cool it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be harvesting some of the chill. I know this isn't physically, technically correct, but I'm going to be spreading the heat and having the oxygen setup act as a heat sink, which is the method I will fix this issue. But it will require a little bit of redesign. But I'm okay with a little bit of redesign just because I'm trying to, for you all, for the benefit of you all, I'm trying to design a system that is sort of more hardy and able to handle the demands that you might all have. So, a redesign sometimes is necessary. Now, the tricky part will be not to allow too much hydrogen gas to be released. So, I think what I'll do is I am going to break down some of the cables here and then sort of like wall it off. So that might not even work all that well. Well, let's see. Utilities, drywall, and trying to fill this in so that it doesn't, disappear or whatever. And we have some new printables. Let's go with Mirth. Not that I need it by any stretch of the imagination. Taking a quick look at the base because it's easy to get wrapped up in one project. My ranches look fine. My water filtration looks fine. Yeah, everything looks fine. I'm gonna hotkey this area. So, adding a joint watt plate won't leak out any hydrogen, but removing the old joint watt plate will. So I have to set it up in a way that I'm not going to lose Oh, that's unreachable now. I'm not going to lose precious hydrogen pointlessly. And as this system is currently off, you'll be able to see that it is going to cool down on its own. I wish these power generators were a little quieter. And now we're starting to recondense. So the liquid oxygen won't stay liquid forever. It eventually will equalize, and until the drywall and temp shift plates and pretty much everything in this room is the correct temperature, you will see sort of condensation regularly. And that is totally normal and to be expected. Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm sorry. So anyone who thinks, oh, this is just shovel voles, I hate to say you're wrong, because it's always the same spot over and over and over again. It's fine, just drive me a little crazy, that's all. Alright, so here is the last two that I need to remove. And then what I'm going to be doing is walling off this area here, like this, which is going to be a little tricky because I think I'll have to remove the drywall, which will leak me to space. I don't know if there's another way around it, but I'm not that worried about the amount of hydrogen I'll lose. I'll lose some. What I'll do is I'll make an emergency to tidy that up and fix it. Oh, you know, it's fine. I'll just have to reverse engineer. Well, making it difficult for myself, but it's all right. So everything here is going to be broken down eventually, but what I want to do is then let's go ahead and set up a liquid lock over here. So this is going to be a little higher, like that. And then this could be set up as a liquid lock. So on additional examination, I am going to get rid of this hydrogen line and reroute it a little bit. If we need more hydrogen in there, what is this made out of? I think this was wrong. If we need more hydrogen in here, this here is sandstone? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit awkward of a liquid lock because we're having to set it up after the fact. And let's fix this here. This should be Mafic now. This drywall. But once the liquid lock is in place, we can remove this heavy joint plate just fine. Alright, as far as plumbing goes, give me a mini liquid pump right here. And we will plumb we'll set the plumbing up. In terms of power, we could tap into this temporarily. because I don't think there's any other power nearby. Not easily accessible power, at least. All right. So if you're building this for the first time or haven't built it yet, design it the way I'm designing it now. Don't design it the way I had it, because the way I had it is not good enough. As you can see, it's the hydrogen is just too hot, and as a result, it is making these steam turbines go crazy. I'd shut off those steam turbines if I could, but I can't get in there at the moment, so 'tis a moot point. But we will be engineering this better, smarter, stronger, faster. And yes, I too shall miss Daft Punk. Cosmetically, I'm just going to trim off the drywall there too. All right, damage overheated. Oh, yes. No, that would do. Okay, let's disable this. And we're just going to have to do without the petroleum. I have more petroleum, so that's not much of an issue. So then the idea here is let's go to buildings, or background buildings, get rid of this, and buildings, get rid of this. If that's the case, I don't even need the plumbing anymore, because we'll just do a bottle emptier. That would have been easier in the first place anyway. So bottle emptier here. And then once I've got enough petroleum, we'll set up the liquid lock. Now we're gonna have a bit of a spill because of the heavy watt joint plate and where it's located. But I don't see an easy way around that. So here we'll do petroleum auto bottle 9. Why the hell is that as noisy? And then, if we're not actually doing the pumping, let's get rid of this power line as well. We don't need that either. Okay. So, slightly redesigned, but ultimately, I think it will be fine. Making improvements. So once the dupes have spent enough time to retool and refix that. How is there oh, yeah, I guess there is petroleum in here. Odd. Well, we'll pull that out. Yeah, I made a bit of a mess. One could argue. Messes were made. I am also going to replace... Oops. I did not mean to do that. Just so that I walk around a little faster. Because this is not a risk of heat. We'll go about that there. I don't mind the ladders where I've been placing the ladders. And this is ultimately just a lot more work to build, but I like the benefit. I also like the look of plastic. It's nice. Alright, so now it seems like the hydrogen is not so hot that we're actually able to cool and delete some of this heat here. And we'll just keep working this. Yeah, this petroleum got too hot as well. Alright, more print pods. I don't want any of it. Odd, I know, but don't have use for it. Alright, guys. Get the rest of it built, please. There we go. So, this is going to allow us to break down this. So, the idea here is these window tiles. These window tiles will help bring chill up to our hydrogen room. And it will chill down the hydrogen so that we can run our systems faster. But we're going to need to break everything down first and then set it up so that it can be chilled in this method. I do believe that this is probably the best method to chill. Or the easiest. But sometimes easy, effective is best. Alright, dupes. Have at it. Now I am carefully eyeing the amount of insulation or ceramic I have. I think I have enough to complete this project, so I'm not worried about it, but if I needed more ceramic, I could always fire up this kiln here. This was the original kiln I had. The room's a little hot in there, because I've been making thermium and tungsten and all that, but alright, we are still deleting the heat. As you can see, just a little bit of running this thermo-aqua tuner and the liquid oxygen is back to, well, the gaseous oxygen is back to a liquid. It does not take much. Now let me sweep at 8s so that I can construct at 9s. Alright, we definitely have enough petroleum now. So I'm going to break these two down. Gaining access to the... Oh, that's not the right priority. Gaining access to the generator now. We are going to need to stick in, and I'll make this an emergency, Mafic back tiles, so we don't lose too much gas. And then also we're actually gonna want to destroy this one and replace it with insulation to keep the petroleum from leaking in an unwanted fashion. In terms of power now, we could definitely get rid of those cables. They're no longer needed. Alright, so now we have a liquid lock on the right side. And then this is how I should have designed it to start. I'm going to add a little bit more petroleum because our petroleum here is very, very thin. It's only a few hundred grams, not kilos. And I'm going to let the dupes replace the rest of these ladders. And then if you take a look at the minerals, yeah, it's all, you know, ceramic and all that. All right, so here's some window tiles. So now, connected window tiles will allow us to spread chill, and I'm going to have them connect to the left side here, which is why I switched the airlock, the side of the airlock. And then once we have the window chiller set up, I will run the hydrogen until it is frozen, and then I can add pumps to this setup here. Or add pipes, rather. I have the pumps, but I need the pipes. All right, let's do some regular base maintenance. All right, let's run some filtered water. Our hydrogen and natural gas looks great. The natural gas has been recovering to the point where I'm going to enable one more natural gas Jenny to rely more on natural gas than hydrogen, even though our hydrogen is pretty full. Water's clean and about to get more added. And ranches seem fine to me. Yeah. Well, actually, there's one too many here. I don't know how that happened. Just because the drop-off point is set to 9 or 8, and somehow we got 9. So oldest Dreco dies. Here we are. That one might not be the oldest, but it's old enough. All right, so we're adding a little bit more petroleum. And at this point, I'd like to sweep up everything here. Let's actually sweep to... Well, let's sweep this to 9 because it's holding us up. And sweep this to 8 because it's less important. All right, so maybe one more delivery of petroleum and we'll be good to go. So the window tiles here, we are going to connect, let's say, like that. And this will allow the chill of, or the heat of here to move into our liquid oxygen. So yes, as a net result, what will happen is it will be a little bit harder to get liquid oxygen liquid, but it is a necessary thing to do in order to chill the hydrogen in the hydrogen room. All right, so that's the last petroleum shipment. So I'll be sure to turn this bottle emptier off now. Yep, that's plenty. If I wanted a little bit more hydrogen in my, well, that's probably enough hydrogen. So let's add these window tiles. So these window tiles will carry the cold up or carry the heat down, however you want to look at it. I guess heat down, but and now that that is set up, these two tiles right here will be replaced, and that should cool down the hydrogen a lot. And that would be the last little setup that I needed to effect. And then I think we're pretty good to go on a mass production of liquid hydrogen and oxygen. I don't see that we're going to be held up for anything else. Just someone get that built. All my duplicates are like, someone else will do it. No, doesn't work like that. Sadly. Alright. It is also outside a power plant, so I'm going to want a pneumatic door. I'm going to want a pneumatic door here instead of these two Mathic drywalls. Alright, someone, please. Are you delivering the diamond? You are. Except for then you walked away. Alright, Bryce is getting it built. So if we take a look at the temperature here, the temperature see these diamond tiles getting hot. And the hydrogen here is dropping pretty quickly. Oh, wow. Really, really, really quickly. The net result of this is going to be that that our oxygen will need to... The aqua tuner for the oxygen will need to run a little bit extra. I'm surprised the supercoolant in the pipes here have not... Where? Let me set to negative 190. Because that's actually a better temperature setting for it anyway. And pretty quickly, we ought to see that that this hydrogen cools to a point where it's not going to be a problem. In fact, let's prove it and run our hydrogen cooler now too. All right, so everything that's left in here, let's sweep up as a high priority, and we can leave this door open. This power station is now enclosed so that we can tune up. Oh, that was lead. My bad. I thought that was gold. All right. So this is a little bit of a cleaner setup. I might have to add some additional window tiles to increase the surface area, but we'll see. Ooh, free steel. I'll take free steel. Let's take a look at the temperature of the base. So this part of the base here, it's temperate. It's not cold, but it's temperate. I did add a bunch of coolers, or Weezeworts around the molecular the forge, and as you can see, it's actually paying off. There's a tiny little pocket of chill near that forge. Not quite like this pocket of chill. Negative 182 Celsius and dropping. All right, let's go ahead and try to increase some surface area here. This might be too much, but I can always dial it back if need be. Checking on the pressure here. Oh, yeah, look at this. All right, let's go to the gas overlay. We've got vacuum in like 90%. Here, let me zoom out. Of the oil biome. So there's some oxygen and what is that? Polluted oxygen near this pump. But everything else is nice and vacuumed out. I don't see any pockets of stuff that's going to get stuck. But yeah, we're mostly vacuum now. Which means there's going to be no heat transference once the... so as you can see, this is very, 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 very hot carbon dioxide as it's been touching magma. Makes sense, right? But obviously, it can't transfer heat anywhere because I'm in a straight vacuum. Now, it can transfer heat, I guess, into the ladders. So I might want to remove the ladders, or eventually, once I'm done vacuum sealing everything, remove the insulated gas pipes so the heat can't travel up this pipe back into. But it wouldn't really matter because it's vacuum. So where's the heat going to go? There's not material there for it to heat up. All right, and you can see the window tiles are doing its thing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have it be a little wider. Because why not? And then let's dial the plastic ladder back. Like that. I don't know, maybe it'll look nice. Maybe it won't. Oh, yeah, this ceramic I can't grab until all this oxygen goes from liquid or gas to liquid. But yeah, you can very easily see this window tile is helping to chill the hydrogen bay. And both aqua tuners are in full blast right now, and they don't seem to be getting overheated or anything like that. So that's pretty much exactly what we're looking for. Great. And we can always, if need be, we can always add even more volume here. Okay. And there's only a little bit of hydrogen and oxygen in these areas, so it's not that big of a deal if I need to vent the gas to do maintenance or anything like that. We're not fully committed to a giant pool of liquid or anything. And as the volumes of these increase, like as the volume of the oxygen and hydrogen in these chambers go up, the amount of their sensitivity to like thermal shock or whatever will decrease, which is good. Okay, here we go. An odd use for window tiles, but they're working. Yeah, the hydrogen here is chilling. So it's fully functional, and I can add more volume if I need to, like I said. All right. Well, I'm going to run this as a test for hydrogen and oxygen. I'm not going to mess with it. But one thing I wanted to do is to do a calculation of the temporal tear. So for a hydrogen rocket with 0 cargo bays, 0 research, 0 everything, with LOX, with liquid oxygen and hydrogen, to go out to temporal tear, which, let me see, is way out here, which is 180,000 or whatever, is 2436 kilograms. So we would need fuel and oxidizer tanks to accommodate that. So let's figure out what that would look like. Let's paint 9 up. So that would look, ideally our rocket would blast off from here. If I have to have it lower, okay, I'll maybe cook some things down there. And that might be a requirement, we'll see. But ideally, our rocket, our hydrogen engine will be, you know, set around here. And this is another reason why I've been cranking out all of the steel so that we could afford this. Another thing I want to do is to reroute some of this coolant. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this to some ridiculously low temperature, 0 Celsius or whatever, so that we just don't run coolant out for a bit, so that I can reroute it. Because at this point, we don't need to be refueling our rockets anymore. They're not taking petroleum. So the coolant line from here, in this location, can just start to return back. So plumbing. Oh, actually, maybe it shouldn't run on a plastic ladder, though. So I'm going to put it here, because it would eventually equalize with the plastic ladder and do some damage. So then these two lines combine. And then it will skip this bridge here and just go straight back to the cooling tank. I still need coolant. But I don't necessarily... I don't think I like this location either. I don't need to be adding the coolant to my rockets. All right, so soon we'll get this all flushed out. It's just taking a minute. Because, yeah, the loop is competing. Alright. Oh, hey, take a look at that. Liquid hydrogen. Yeah. So, yeah, the oxygen has to work a little bit harder. Because the oxygen is being used as a coolant. But given enough oxygen in this chamber, will be good. But there it is, liquid hydrogen. Right as rain. So one of the things that we're going to want to do, now that we have liquid hydrogen, is I'm going to want to... basically, the way to keep your hydrogen from getting phase changing in the pipes is to circulate it when you need it. So that's something that I need to set up for. So let's take a look. We've got invalid building location. What does it have to be down? Like, there we go. Set it up too high. So before I even start to pump this hydrogen over to rockets to refuel, I'm going to need to figure out exactly where my rockets are going to reside. So for one, getting rid of all of the unnecessary rocket parts that I'm not going to be using anymore. And then breaking down all the old plumbing. It's going to be a little bit of a, you know, I joke. It's going to be a lot of work. But we're almost through. All right, so up here in this location, we're going to have insulated... Oh, not the good stuff, though. Insulated pipes. And then here... It's going to skip that loop and go straight down. I think it's most important that that one breaks, and then the rest of them will come in due time. Alright, so at this point, I can fire up the coolant loop. Actually, that's not true. I need to destroy this here. And then I can fire up the coolant loop, and it'll be fine. Oh, I need to break this down and have it be bridged as well. There. I don't need to bridge it. I just need to wait until this is all emptied out. That's really what it comes down to. We'll get there. We'll get there. And then all of this, this rocket can go bye-bye too. I'm not going to need this at all. All right, so the coolant is now out. Break it down and reconnect this back up. This needs to break first, and then this needs to get built. Okay, now we can run coolant loops. No problem. Let's set this back to 100. And we'll be sending coolant through our natural gas jennies, and we'll be sending coolant through our auto sweepers, but not trying to refuel our ship with it, which was the key. Okay, yep, I can destroy all of this. No problem. So here's the hydrogen engine. Then if we go to rocketry, we are going to need, well, a lot of fuel, right? So we're going to have all liquid fuels. It also means that this ladder needs to break down. It's kind of in the way. And eventually the upper bunker tiles as well. In order to break this down, I'm going to need to add ladders, actually. So let's add some ladders to this area. And let's make it a high priority to rip up this old rocket area. All right, liquid fuel tank is on its way. Oh, I did just cut power. Oh, yeah. That's totally fine. No issue either. All right. So all this old rocket here is going to get this left one is going to get broken down. I'm going to have so much extra steel. All right, let's do some prioritizations though. So we have the liquid fuel here, and we are going to need... oh boy, like a lot of liquid fuel. So I think 3 liquid fuel tanks is correct. And then for oxidizer, we're going to have liquid ox. I think we only need 2 liquid ox tanks. But it is a expensive endeavor going where we're going, right? I hope there's enough vertical room. There should be. But I'll have to, double check for sure. Oh, Patty, you're gonna go for a bit of a drop, aren't you? Oh no, you got out of the way in time. Well, that's good. Didn't go kaplunk. So these liquid fuel tanks can only hold up to 900. And we're gonna need 2436, I believe. So it'll look something akin to this. And then 2 ox tanks, and then the rest is whatever I want to add to it. Whether it's cargo, etc., etc. All right, let's also sweep and tidy, because it got a mite bit dirty here with all the materials that we dropped. As you can see here, everything's been running pretty smoothly. What is the phase change of oxygen again? Liquid at negative 183. When does it become a solid? It becomes a solid at negative. So we can actually do this to negative 200. Make it even colder. Oh no, that's negative 200. Basically, we don't want to go within 14 degrees of the solid point, because the aqua tuner removes 14 degrees of temperature every time it runs. So I could actually have it be to like negative 202, maybe, if we want extra cold liquid oxygen, and that's fine. So it stops condensing. I'll set it to that temperatures. All right, these here are granite, and they will eventually melt. So I'm going to remove these in lieu of at least igneous. I think everything else is igneous. If we do a mineral setting, you can see where it's igneous or obsidian versus granite. Granite won't survive. So all right, we'll get that built. Get the last of the liquid tank set up. So this can hold up to 2,700, 9 times 3, 900 times 3, I should say, liquid hydrogen. I might want one more. Oh boy, might want one more if I want to ever do a cargo mission. But let's say I don't. Let's say I just go straight for the Terra, which was voted on, so I think that's okay. But if I did want to make stops, like if I wanted to go to this gold asteroid or gilded asteroid or something like that, which has a ridiculous amount of fullerene, obviously I would need more tanks to hold the storage stuff. All right, so now we're going to do oxidizer, or liquid oxidizer tanks, excuse me. Not solid oxidizer tanks, because that won't work. And then I think I'm going to unify my ladders here, because they're ugly. So let's make them obsidian. And there, something like that. I'll try to stick with this pattern so it doesn't become so ugly. More eggs. Definitely want to get them in crates before they hatch. Oh, my water's been ready to filter for ages. 7 and 8. Okay. Yeah. So one of the issues, one of the reasons why I haven't really had the liquid oxygen stay in gas form is just because I'm using it as a coolant, but that's totally not an issue for the vast majority of the volume that I have. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I can just plan on the next obsidian ladder being right there. There we go. Get that built. And we're making good progress on this rocket, I guess. I'll sweep up the old parts of the ladders here that we're going to remove. And let's take a look. So the obsidian doesn't go all the way down. So obsidian, the reason why I've been converting over to obsidian is it won't melt on me, which is important. But yeah, here, as you can see, the hydrogen is quite stable, as nothing is really working to change the temperature. It will slowly, given that I've surrounded this with ceramic, bleed into... It will slowly chill this insulated tile ceramic over the course of a long while, because it's not a perfect insulator. As you can see in the properties here, you know, thermal conductivity is not 0 like it is with insulation. Insulation is actually just 0. But it won't happen quickly, so it's not one of these things that I'm going to have to worry about much. So there's my oxidizer tank. This holds 2,700. I only need one of them. This is a liquid ox tank. And then the rest is really just the command capsule. So yeah, this didn't need to be as tall as I had feared. We're going to want a gantry, though. So let's remove these two. Put a gantry in. It's a pretty silly looking rocket. Given that I'm not doing anything else, but just going straight for the launch. Make sure everything's made out of steel at least, if not thermium. Because otherwise, melt, melt, melt. All right. Well, that's the rocket there. So what we need to do now is put in, and I'm going to need some more ceramic. But we're going to want to put in refueling plumbing. Right? So these three here, and we want it to be the shortest run possible. So I'm going to pause. So these three here are the plumbing lines. The 3 tanks that we're going to want to fill up. And I'm going to have them be insulated ceramic. And it's going to be something like this. So the liquid hydrogen will lose heat as it moves, but not so quickly as to phase change or anything on me, right? So I'm going to dump my liquid hydrogen when we've pumped it through the circuit back here, and I'm obviously going to need to get a little bit more ceramic. So let's change this head again. Someone asked in the YouTube comments, why do I keep changing the head? Or why does the head keep changing? It's so that everybody that worked tirelessly in this community can be represented through the statue. I figured that was a kind of a neat thing to do, is to constantly change the head so that our little statue didn't represent one specific duplicate, but all of them. And I kind of like how you can just change the statue to that end. So instead of actually making this part of the piping, I am going to make this part of the piping down here, because I want to start chilling more hydrogen. So this is the pump out. Here, let's minimize it. And then this is the return. There. And these are going to be my big old 9s. And then I'm going to open this door, or auto this door, so that we can build the inside. Because right now there is no gas hydrogen in here, so I can gain access to it. And I ought to do the same thing over here. So we will have a liquid vent. Put it here. Or actually put it here. And plumbing. Oh, you know what? Let's cancel some of this. I'm gonna need to... I'll probably need to do a bigger batch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a bigger batch of ceramic. So... You know those kilns that I broke down? Yeah, rip me. I'm gonna have to put them back. So that would be refinement and... kiln. Oh, that's just so much work. I'll just see what this kiln... Yeah, I'm just gonna manually do the kilns, I guess. Briefly, so... This is gonna produce a lot of heat, but it's temporary heat that we can delete. We also will eventually be able to unlock the... Well, I'll just auto this now and gain access to that ceramic. Alright, so for this, we'll just run this like that. And my oxidizer might go left and around. The liquid oxygen is a little bit less sensitive than the liquid hydrogen. So I want to have a short run, but I don't need quite as short. Or actually, it just might... I might just dig this out and have it go side by side. That'll work for me. It will drop a little bit of oxygen, but at this point, it will be atmosphered pretty quick. So let's get this. That's already 9s, perfect. Because once I have the plumbing all set up in here, I can and get this plugged in, I guess. I can start running more to chill in there. So what we want here is a conductive wire that runs out here, and then have some sort of automation wire so I can switch it on or off. So there's my... We don't need steel switches. I'll have gold switches, but steel is unnecessary. So gold switches... I don't think I can reach that switch though, but that's fine. And then the automation wire to the pump. And then the power to the pump. There. And then in this case, I'll want a few ladders. So we do let out a little bit of oxygen when we have to go through this door, whereas we're not really letting out any hydrogen because it's all liquid out the other one. But our hydrogen up here is temperate enough that it's not going to seize up or anything like that, so that's good. Oh, and we're getting some... Oh, that's not good. So some of the oxygen leaked in from left to right and turned into an ice. Yep. Just a teeny little bit of it. But it's because this area is not vacuumed out. It's fine because we can sweep it out once we're done. But that's a unfortunate and somewhat funny side effect. All right, so that's the last trip in that we have to make. Come on, just build it already. I hate when duplicates are just like back and forth, back and forth. All right, so there is some hydrogen gas that is because of the constant opening of the doors. Oh my god, duplicates, just deliver all the gold. I'm gonna sacrifice you to the elder gods if you don't. All right, there we go. So now, lock the left one. Wait until all the oxygen is out, and then get rid of this oxygen here. This oxygen liquefiables. We don't need to go in here anymore. It's fully built, or at least everything that we need inside is fully built. And then once all the oxygen from this area is gone, it actually might be decent to just have like a gas pump here, like a mini gas pump. Just to get rid of it because I'm impatient. It's not a lot of gas. All right, and that will be the last thing I do this episode. So let's get this done because I'm on tight timetable. Emergency. Because now that I'm using 9s everywhere, emergency is the new 9. And then this is my new beautiful rocket here. Hope. The Hope rocket. It's probably going to rename that at some point. Let's do that now. Oh, so I guess we got built here. All right, so now we're pumping out all the oxygen so it doesn't bleed into our hydrogen. And we can just go to gas. The other issue is I think this gas pump will probably overheat at some point, but it's a temporary need. We did have some phase changing in here because it was this liquid pump wasn't immediately off, and it broke the pipes a little. But I'm going to start introducing oxygen into the oxygen side because it's all set and can be, well, to just continue dumping oxygen into it. And then trying to pull oxygen out of here. So if we go to gas, yeah, there's obviously gas here. And some of this gas isn't even from it escaping out of the oxygen chamber. It's actually from the pocket of oxygen that I tapped over here, which caused a bit of a leak. But that's all the time I have, guys. I went a little overtime. So next episode, I am probably going to have to do a huge batch of ceramic in order to get the plumbing to the command capsule. And then I'm going to have to liquefy a lot more oxygen and hydrogen in order to get to my destination. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell.